Hey everybody, this is Dave coming to you via internet video. Long time no see. A lot of changes have happened with me, as you can see. I'm sure there are a lot of changes happened with you over the course of the last several months and years. Coming to you today from an undisclosed location here. This is my first attempt at creating, producing, and uploading internet video. So bear with me here a little bit. This is a new experience and process for me, even though I'm employing some older technology, much as myself being an older person. Um, Creating this video here in an attempt to be more concise and clear with my communications. I think that's one of the reasons and issues we become so divided over the last several months. For me, I'm old school. I learned my communication skills with face-to-face communication and social interaction with other people in person. So something that is lost in this day and age with our current forms of communication. In any case, for me, communication should be clear and should be concise, and it's not necessarily in what someone's saying, it's more in how they're saying it. What's their tone of voice, physical gestures, things of that nature. And that's just something that me personally, I don't know if you can find it as what this way as well, something that I just can't do in a text or a tweet or an email, whatever the case may be. So moving forward here, I'm probably going to start responding to things online more in a video fashion versus just simply typing things out. Um, hey, we got the technology, might as well start using it a little bit more and more. In this initial video, I actually wanted to get into something and dive into something here as to my thinking and reasonings as to why we've become so divided as a country and a nation. And quite simply, it boils down to communication or lack thereof. There's a reason the First Amendment is the First Amendment and it gives us the freedom of speech. It's because communication is very important. It's the exchange of ideas. And if we can't properly exchange those ideas and debate those ideas and conversate about those ideas in a adult fashion, then pretty much we might as well hang the whole thing up now. And to start with, I'm going to get into what I call the media news. Okay, we all get our information basically from the news. That's something that really hasn't changed. However, the news itself has changed over the years. Growing up back in my days, 70s and 80s, you had the major networks. You had ABC, CBS, and of course NBC. Yeah, I know I'm wearing the hat, although I'm not advertising for NBC. It just happens to be a hat that I'm wearing. Those major networks, national networks, had their local affiliates, and for the most part, the no local affiliates would all, show the same news, as well as the national networks would give the same national news. Okay, and that's something that we no longer really have in this country. That's not by coincidence or by accident. It's more by design. The fact of the matter is that our news outlets these days have become politicized, and we have newer news outlets that have joined the fracas in terms of like CNN and Fox, and of course you have your old outlets like the Washington Post, New York Times, New York Post, whatever, wherever you're getting your information from or your news from. The fact of the matter is that not everybody else subscribes to those same news outlets, and all the different news outlets are pretty much politically, narratively reporting their news. It's not necessarily in what they're reporting; it's what they're not reporting. And again, it's become politically biased. Pretty much obvious to anybody who's had a conversation with anybody up on the internet. It's, oh, you must subscribe to Fox News. Oh, you must subscribe to CNN. Or I can tell this, and man, forget all that crap. Okay, it's exactly what it is. It's crap. Um, and it's designed to divide us. Again, I'm not going to get into the hows and the reasoning behind it all in this particular video. I just wanted to point out how we've become so divided. Now, in addition to all this, everybody individually is getting their news from a different news source. Okay, and we're not getting the same news and or information. Okay, in addition to that, we're having conversations about that news in different social circles. This day and age, it's become, social media. Okay, you have Facebook, you have Twitter, you have, yeah, the list goes on and on and on. Now, if you're like me, I use pretty much Facebook exclusively. I have a Twitter account, but I couldn't tell you the last time I've accessed it, let alone read anything off of it. Okay, most people that use Twitter don't have a Facebook account. They use Twitter exclusively. Well, what happens here is everybody gets their news source from these politicized news outlets and then has their conversations about those news stories on the individual social platforms. So we're not only not getting our news from the same sources, we're having conversations about those news stories in different social circles, for lack of a better way of looking at it. And this is causing more and more divisiveness amongst the citizens. People wonder why we're so divided. Well, there you go. I just kind of explained it to you. The fact of the matter is that we are. Everybody thinks that they have all the information. Well, you don't have all the information unless you're subscribing constantly and going back and forth between all the news outlets and all the social media sites. Who the fuck has all the time for that? Nobody, right? And again, this is by design. It's to keep us divided. And I'll get into later videos in terms of how I kind of view and why that's all happening. I didn't want to do that in this particular one. Just something for you guys to be aware of when you're having your online conversations and all that kind of stuff. We all think that we all know it all, and the fact of the matter is that nobody's right if everybody's wrong. And I think everybody's wrong, including myself. I'm not excluding myself from this at all, but I'm trying to see if I can find a way to start bringing us all back together instead of, everybody constantly tearing everybody apart. Because if we keep going the way we're going, man, you could say goodbye to the country. And again, you know what? That's in the design as well. So feel free to shoot me an email, shoot me a message, or reply down in the comments, right down there, as to what you think. I'm going to be doing more videos and all that kind of stuff here in the future. So I hope all is good with everybody. Have a great day, and peace, love, soul, rock and roll.